United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before I begin my words tonight, I just want us just to take a moment to remember Jim McHale, who was a lifetime resident of Clausen, and he did many things for Clausen. I know he's on the school board, but he did many things and helped out many people, and he loved Clausen. So if we just remember him in our prayers and his family, just for a moment before we begin. And tonight, as we come together, Clausen is the city. It's a little city with a big heart, is what we hear so many times. And tonight we gather, and it's great that we gathered here. It's important that we gather here. And this week, for many of us, we celebrate Christmas. And for Christians, it's a time of hope and a celebration of hope. And so when we say Merry Christmas, we say hope and peace to people. But I think tonight is really, as we almost are at the end of our year, it should be about hope also. There's so many different things that we hope for, and we encourage so many others with hope. And it doesn't matter what faith tradition you are. We should all come together and wish each other as people of goodwill to always live in hope. St. Paul writes to the letter in the Romans, "Hope does not disappoint, because the love of God is poured out into our hearts by the Holy Spirit that has been given to us." And then Jeremiah also writes, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and not to harm you, plans to give hope to a future." Clausen is not just a little city, but it's a city of hope, and it's got a great future. And so tonight we ask God to bless the city, all of our citizens, our civil servants, this council here tonight, our mayor, and we also ask God to bless all of our city with hope. And St. Paul goes on in Romans and speaks, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." And so tonight is a great night that we celebrate that great hope as we are about to start a new year also. Let our new year be filled with great hope. And we ask these things through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Milan.
I'm here.
Councilmember Anderson. Here. Councilmember Sampson.
Here.
Councilmember Shepherd. Here. That's all four, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next thing on the agenda would be approval of the agenda. I believe there are a couple additions.
We have to add the items that we'd like to have from what we talked about.
Okay.
So Mayor, I move that the agenda be approved as presented. However, I'd like to have the following items change out from the consent agenda and added under new business. Remove item C, D, E, and I. And then add under presentations, proclamations, presentation by the Fraternal Order of Eagles to make a presentation to the Clausen Youth Assistance. So that'd be under 8C.
I'll support that.
I will ask the first question as to why we are moving the reappointments and the appointments outside of the consent agenda.
I think that they should not be part of the consent agenda. Literally just received that information without enough time to follow up with questions if necessary to find out who is being appointed. I think it should be done not necessarily as a consent agenda item, but independently.
Okay, these have been done as consent agenda items for quite a while. I'm assuming you're very familiar with Mr. Kucera, also Ms. Smith. The only one you may not be fully aware of would be Mr. Hara, but his application was presented in time for this agenda, and I feel that this has.
No, I disagree with that. I certainly did not have enough time to process whatever the information was that we received. I think that needs a little bit additional information. I'd like to have that opportunity to make that, have that time.
So how much time would you like the agenda to be presented in advance for you to have enough time to digest the information within it?
I'd like to have the packet received in my mail prior to Monday. Certainly, it may have been something that provided online, but it was not something that I received until just yesterday.
I don't think that's, I think I had mine prior to that. I think the agenda was out prior to that.
We redid item C and resent the packet yesterday. You did not get the original
I did not
packet on
receive the
Thursday?
initial information. No, I did not.
It did go out Thursday to everyone, because I was
thought,
CC'd
yeah.
on that, yeah.
It's never been when we did a consent agenda, remember we all said if anybody had a question on anything, we pull it out.
I have no problem with questions. I have questions as well, which is why I'm asking them now.
Yeah.
That something such as this, there's always, a great reason for why something like this is happening. I find it insulting. So, but we can vote unless anyone else has any other comments. And then if that's going to be the case, then do we take off the item that you added on yesterday? When did you add an item? Yesterday, you wanted to add something to do with budgeting for the Charter Commission?
Is that a question? As far as, yeah, I added that, yeah.
Okay, and when did you add it?
I added that yesterday.
Okay,
But-
so was that enough time for us to digest the possibility of digesting what we may need for a conversation regarding budgeting for the Charter Commission? Is there a difference? I'm just trying to figure that
I
out.
think he's only taking it out because we're going to have questions, that's all. We're not taking it off the agenda, we're just moving it so we can ask questions on it.
Yes, I understand. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Could you repeat the motion, please?
we are going to add a section C, a presentation, onto the presentations, and then we're going to take consent agenda items C, D, E, and I and move them to new business. And the new business numbers will be D, E, F, and G.
I'll approve it, yes.
Mayor Milan,
No,
Councilman Sampson,
Yes.
Councilman Shepherd.
Yes.
thank you. And my no is because different rules. Okay. So we're going to make those appropriate changes to the consent agenda. Next thing on the agenda would be, did I miss, like usual? Public comment is next. But is anyone here that would like to have public comment for items that are on the agenda?
Well, I hadn't intended to speak for items on the agenda, but shame on you for not being able to review the information because I'm not on council, I'm a member of the public, and I was able to review the packet online over the weekend. And if it wasn't sent to you, you should have gone and looked for it because that's your job. So shame on you for not preparing for the meeting in plenty of time. I reviewed the applications, they were in the packet. So you guys need to start doing your jobs.
Madam Mayor, may I comment?
Oh, sure.
I recall another applicant, Mr. Frink, from about a month ago, that was under the same circumstances. And the question at that point in time was whether or not we should have an opportunity to interview him. He certainly had an opportunity. We were allowed an opportunity to ask whether or not we should proceed with a vote to bypass that. We were given that opportunity, we voted to bypass it. I'm asking that we have that opportunity to investigate.
Sorry, but public comment is not an opportunity for you to rebut what I said. But let me also say that I reviewed it over the weekend. So there was plenty of time from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for you to do your job.
Anyone else?
I have to agree with Ms. Moffett. Glenn, come on. You can read. I can read. You had plenty of time. This is obstruction.
Good afternoon, or good evening.
Welcome back.
I'm glad you're all warm. My name is Donna Hughes, 476 East Baker. 2 weeks ago, I suggested that all the acronyms in the agendas and the reports and the minutes have both verbal and written have their definitions included. As I read through the packet yesterday, today's agenda items 7A through I were great. Thank you for whoever, through the city clerk's office. I think the information was supplied by the deputy city clerk writes up these things. Agenda items 8B and 10A, less so. There's acronyms in there that do not have their definitions. Something as simple as DDA. Some people don't know what that means. You really need to, when you're going through these things, they all have to be there. A suggestion to the city of Clausen, suggestion to continue the city of Clausen alphabet soup definitions in the minutes as well as in the agenda and department reports. Adding the meaning of the acronyms will better equip the citizens for a better understanding of the business language of the city of Clausen. And I know that you're not supposed to answer questions, but I don't, after speaking last week, again, I am unfamiliar with the machinations of the council and how the city works. But I don't know if the person who actually writes out the minutes and the agendas got that suggestion. Because when I read the minutes, it just says discussion from people. So I'm just kind of inquiring, how does the deputy city clerk get the information for the agenda and the minutes to write up? And if at some time in the future, one of you would reach out to me with the answer to that question, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
Could you address that now? I'm assuming that's a simple answer. How the deputy clerk gets the information to put into the minutes? That was the question, correct?
We write notes as we're going along. I wasn't familiar with the acronym thing. That must have been when Jennifer was here.
It was the
That
last
came up?
one.
Okay. We get the information that goes on the agenda from the city manager and the council. That's where it comes from. DDA has been, some of these things are pretty well known. I didn't think to spell those out. I can in the future.
Well, don't make assumptions, because the assumption, it doesn't matter how simple it is. If it's written out, everybody understands, and then there's no question that people don't understand.
I agree
you.
with the fact that some of those are common to us, and so we overlooked them in here. So we will try to make sure that we spell those out. But that did come up, and we got most of them, overlooked a couple, but it does make sense.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak for items on the agenda?
Good evening. Andrew Hodges, 510 West Baker. The consent agenda has me a little confused, especially regarding the zoning board of appeals. Because when I went on the website, the city's website, about 2 weeks ago, it showed 2 vacancies and 2 alternates that are open. And one of the vacancies is Diane Smith, and she is being reappointed, but I see nothing that says about the other vacancy. And my question is because I had my application put in at the city clerk's office on December 13th. That's plenty of time to get it into your guys' packet before this meeting. So I would like to know where my application went. Was it misplaced? Was it overlooked? Or is it something else that it could be? Because I applied for the zoning board of appeals, and there's 3 vacancies open, 2 alternates and 1. And right now, they only have 4 members. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay, then we will, next item again is consideration of approving the following consent agenda. Minutes of the organizational meeting held on Monday, December 15th, 2021 as presented. Minutes of the regular city council meeting held on December 7th, 2021 as presented. We apparently are moving the reappointment of Greg Kucera to the Planning Commission for a term to expire December 31st later. Reappointment of Diane Smith to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire December 31st later. Appointment of Nathan Hara to the Planning Commission for a term to expire December 31st, 2024 later. We're accepting the resignation of David Pernick from the Planning Commission. Mr. Pernick, thank you very much for your service. We really appreciate you. If you're ever interested in serving again, feel free to contact us. Appointments of Trevor Zablocki as representative and Nick Stepnitz as an alternate to the Southeastern Oakland County Resource Recovery Authority, which is also known as SACRA, for terms to expire June 30th, 2022. Also, appointments of Trevor Zablocki as representative and Nick Stepnitz as an alternate to the South Oakland County Water Authority, which is known as SACWA. The terms to expire June 30th, 2022. We are moving the list of bills as presented in the amount of $547,564.50 to the end of the agenda as well. Would anyone like to approve?
Mayor, I move the consent agenda be approved as amended.
I'll support that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Wait a minute, I have a question. Does Nick have any background in water?
Does not.
Does not? Is he going to be able to represent us in that committee?
Can't ask questions on consent. That's the whole point.
Should have
New
taken it out.
rules.
Okay.
But thank you for trying. Thank you.
Not that anyone cares.
Don't look exasperated. We do care. We just, we care about other things too. So we will ask that question later, just because apparently we have to. So roll call, please.
We are at Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Consent passes.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda will be presentations and proclamations. The first item is a presentation regarding the Yo and Yo audit update. I'm assuming Kelly will be presenting that, or Scott, or who's in charge here?
Mike from Yo and Yo.
Oh, Mike.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
There he is.
There he is.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me here. The last time I was here at the meeting, I was asking for approval for an addendum to our contract, which you approved. That was about a month ago. And since then, it's been about a week now since we have finished our audit of opening balances. We've found a number of misstatements that will be restated in the 2021 audit once we're through all of that. Currently, we're still working through that. We anticipate it to be done middle to late January, pending basically the OPEB valuation, which has not been completed yet. Once that's done, we will need a couple of weeks of lead time to get through that, excuse me, to evaluate the valuation, work through the GASB standards in order to do the calculation for that net OPEB liability, and then go through our stages of review to get the financial statements issued and sent to the state.
Mike, would you like to explain to our audience what OPEB stands for?
Yes, I'm sorry. That's other post-employment benefits. And so that represents the accumulated estimated liability for all the retirees and future retirees of the city that are plan members.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry about that.
No, you're good. It's your standard.
So that is my update. Regarding the 2021 audit, I would not like to comment on any findings until we've completed the audit and present those findings all at once.
I have a question.
Sure.
When's the audit due?
The audit is due in 10 days, actually, and Kelly has submitted for an extension.
Is it going to hurt the bond rating or anything if we don't get in on time?
I do not know that answer. I don't believe it will, but I'm not positive on that.
Can we find out and get back to us?
Yeah, I can ask on that.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions?
How long is the extension for?
It'd be a 1-month extension, and again, pending on the valuation from the actuaries, we'll be able to meet that with no problem.
Were you able to get all the information you needed from the former audit group?
The former auditor provided no information. Kelly had to either reproduce the documentation or find schedules in the computer files.
Was the prior firm, were they helpful in any way since you reached out to them?
They haven't provided me with any documentation whatsoever. Everything came from Kelly.
Okay.
Anyone else? Kelly, do you have any comments on this? Is it relevant to you to add comments? No? Scott, anything?
No, I just wanted the mayor and council to be aware of where we're at with the audit and why it's taking so long. With the extension filed, and I spoke with Mike last week, they should be able to complete, with the extension approval, they should be able to complete it in time by the time the state comes back with that extension. We should be in compliance at that point.
If there's anything else that comes up, is there an ability to file an additional extension? Or is this just one time?
It's a one-time extension as far as I'm aware. Usually, from what I've seen, they don't grant the extension, but by the time the state looks at the extension application, we typically have these audits done if there's a little delay in getting them in. So they may say it's denied, but it would already have been put to their website, if you will.
Okay.
Is 1 month going to be enough time?
As long as the actuarial valuation is done in the near future, which we've been told it'll be done before the end of the year, then that should be plenty of time.
Who's doing that? Who does that?
I believe it's
Foster and Foster is doing that.
yeah.
Have we talked to them about it? They still on time?
Yeah, I touched base with them on December 7th, and they said they will still have it by the end of the year.
So the end of the year is this week, next week? Do they have time off for that, or?
I sent an email this evening, and I'm going to just give them a call tomorrow to find out a little bit more clear what the deadline or when the estimated completion date is.
So they have just one point of contact, or is there a group of people that's working on it, or?
There's a couple people that I can contact over
Okay.
there.
Okay. Mike, thank you very much for your time,
Thank you.
working for us.
Thank you.
Try
Have
and
a good
do this
evening.
quick.
Merry Christmas,
Try
everyone.
and get within the next 10 days. Could happen,
Goodbye,
right?
Rudy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If you don't ask, you don't get, people. The next thing on the agenda will be presentation. Sorry, Joan, I know it's you. I just can't see it. Informational meeting presentation by our Downtown Development Authority Director, Joan Horton. Can I have that little sticky note?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. So the purpose of this meeting is that it's in accordance with Public Act 57 of 2018, where downtown development authorities must hold 2 informational meetings each calendar year for the purpose of informing the public of the goals and the direction of the authority. So I've got a brief recap here of 2020, and I know you have long meetings, so I'm going to keep it. If I speak too fast, just slow me down. This will also be on our website, the informational meeting packet. Presentation will be on there, and I'll be sent out in our newsletter also. So on ongoing programs for 2020, we were able to bring back events. COVID restrictions were lifted, so we were able to bring back the events that were established in 2008, which was Cinema in the Street, Trick or Treasure, and the Great Pumpkin Crawl. We are now have the Adopt a Snowman is currently decorating the downtown. And just a little note here that per the DDA work plans, all of our events are cash positive or neutral. They do not come from the DDA budget. They are all by donation or sponsorships. We continued with business assistance. The DDA provides ongoing assistance to all development projects and new business owners from site plan to grand opening. We also act as the first point of contact to inform and assist on all types of business grant opportunities, license applications, and city ordinances and policies. We also offer a business assistance grant, which is primarily facade grants, which have awarded over $38,000 in funding since the inception. We're a member of Main Street, and the DDA receives technical assistance, support programs, and grant opportunities through the National Main Street Program and our local Main Street Oakland County program. Claus and DDA has been accredited Main Street community since 2011 and have successfully met the accreditation criteria with each year's evaluation. Most importantly, our businesses benefit from the opportunities afforded through Main Street. Got a little update here on some of the grants that we received or are currently working on. We received an $80,000 Michigan Economic Development Corp. MEDC grant for signalized crossing improvements. All options and costs are currently under review, so we can make sure that we optimize the use of the money. We received a $10,000 Consumers Energy Our Town grant, which was for a matching gift card program. And that is going towards our Downtown Dollars program, and it's actually going live at midnight. So that is their criteria is it must be matching dollars. So we have it set up in $25, $50, and $100 increments, and if you purchase a gift card, you get a matching bonus card. You can get up to $125 in matching dollars. Last year, we were given $9,000 from this program. The buy one, get one offer went in 3.5 hours. So it goes fast. The bonus dollars are good through April 31st, which puts that money back in the downtown through the winter. The regular gift card has no expiration date. So this is a program, it is on our Facebook page, and if anyone is looking for it, it is through a company called Yiftee, Yiftee. It's yiftee.com, and look for Downtown Clausen. Anybody has any questions, they can also email me at ddadirector@cityofclausen.com or call my cell, because I know this is time sensitive and people want to make sure they get their order in, and that's 248-219-4022. So, on to grants. We also received a $1,500 grant from Main Street Oakland County for marketing, and that material is in development. A $7,000 grant from National Main Street, which was for a parking study, and that the draft report has been received and is under review. Before we get the final, it was sent out to the committee members who are working on parking, and once we get the comments in, we will send it back to Rich and Associates and get the final copy. We also distributed about $62,000 in product from the Restaurant Relief Grant Program of Oakland County. That was all in product and materials. Igloos, greenhouses, heaters, PPE equipment, personal protection equipment, and all of that. I agree with Donna. I always type out the name and then put the acronym after it. Then you can use it through the rest of the document. Anyway, we offered the restaurant relief material to all the restaurants in town, and it distributed to those that were interested. Some surprisingly said they weren't or didn't want it, but we gave out a lot of product. On projects, we've got the 14-mile alley, and the brick pavers are installed, and the drainage has been improved. And the arch will be installed in the spring of 2020. It has been at the DPW, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years now, but they were a little shy on help this fall, so it's going to go up in the spring. And then the artwork, lighting, landscaping, and seating are all with the committee trying to determine what's going to be best for the alley. On parking plan, again, we've received the parking study. We're working with SumCog, who is assisting to review all of our parking options. Nothing's off the table. So we will, once we get the study finalized, we'll be able to get back to work with them. They visited the city last summer and walked around town, and they did some traffic counts, and now we can get to work on going on to the next phase of that plan. On the social district, that was approved, and the individual business applications, the licensees have sent in their applications to Michigan Liquor Control Commission for approval. I have not heard yet if any of those have been authorized yet. On banners and artwork, we did get our banners received and installed. We have additional artwork to be installed, and again, that is at DPW, and it's going to be done in the spring. For future goals and projects, we're continue to work on fundraising and the goal of additional support through sponsorships and grants. We have a Downtown Neighbors program, which is an inclusive program for the community and non-DDA businesses. We're continuing to work on placemaking to make sure that our community is a welcoming place that invites visitors. Social district, again, to support a growing restaurant district, and parking, to improve parking for current and future growth. On our work plan for this coming year, we will continue the alley improvement. We'll continue developing of the parking plan, maintain our annual events or create new events as we can. We had a few additional events we wanted to add this year. Sadly, so many of our businesses are very willing, but they're having shortage of staff, so taking on anything additional was just not something that could happen right now. We're going to look at providing additional and varied public art installations, develop a landscaping and maintenance plan, very much needed, and continue to improve our business marketing and support. We have a new business directory that should be live within the next month, and a mobile directory app that we are trying to get more businesses signed up to. We also do have a newsletter that goes out monthly, and I encourage people to go on our website, downtownclawson.com, and sign up. We try not to bother you with a whole lot of email, but monthly we do send out news. This presentation, again, will be on our website. It'll also be offered again on a Zoom meeting on Tuesday, December 28th at 9 a.m., and those details will be posted. So I thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Well, thanks, Joan. You're doing a great job, and I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Council appreciates it.
Thank you, Jim. No, I don't.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The snow people are amazing.
We got 6 more going up tomorrow.
I have,
And if
some
anybody
in my
else
truck.
out there has theirs at home and thought they missed their opportunity to get them up, we still have more stands, and we're very happy to put more out because they are going to be out through the winter. So it's not just a Christmas holiday thing. So.
Was one question, was anybody going to put up the Festivus pole? Is that,
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't part of that last year, so I have no answers on that.
Okay.
I've seen some chatter that people are interested, so,
That was a nice touch.
yeah. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. August, may I put the Fraternal Order of Eagles in at this point? 'Cause it's a
Yeah, this is where we go,
presentation?
on SC.
Thank you. So the next item on our agenda will be, we have the Fraternal Order of Eagles presenting a check to Claus Youth Assistance. Candy Adler Putnam, President of the Eagles, is presenting to our Penny Lewis, Oakland County
Right.
Chair and Youth Assistance Chair.
Hello.
Oakland County Chair.
Hi, I'm Candy Ather Putman, President at Clausen Eagles, Area 3926. My father Brad, also a member. We're here to present a check to the Clausen Youth Assistance for $500. And the Fraternal Order of Eagles is an international nonprofit organization dedicated to philanthropic and service efforts which shape communities across the United States and Canada. Since 1898, the Eagles have been responsible for the creation of Mother's Day and the protection of senior citizens through the Social Security program. We're a community organization. We're focused on community support. Not only are we very happy to present this to the Clausen Youth Assistance, we have also just donated $1,200 to the Clausen Food Pantry. We have also donated to the Children's Miracle Network through the Children's Hospital over here, and we're completely focused on community support. Everyone, men and women, are welcome to join our organization. This isn't a membership drive, but we're very, very happy to support the Clausen Youth Assistance and present this to you, Penny.
Thank you. Thank you. As Chair of Clausen Youth Assistance, we appreciate it. This Christmas season, we spend about $2,000 in gift cards for families for assistance. We focus on camps. We have subsidies for sporting groups and events. We offer therapy. Youth assistance is there to bring families together and help build a positive community. So I just love this check. I want to show everybody. We have a check.
Yes, you do. And we're happy to present it to you.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this. And this is not the first year the Eagles has done this. So this is turning out to be an annual donation, and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We believe in the community, and we want to be a part of it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you for your time here.
Well, thank you for all you do for Clausen. Clausen is very fortunate to have many organizations that support each other, and this is just a great example of that. As we have no public hearings this evening, we will move on to new business. The first item would be consideration of approving a budget amendment number 3 to recognize revenues and expenditures associated with grant funds received from MMRMA. And Kelly is smiling because she's like, okay, wait, I got the MMRMA
Michigan
part.
Municipal Risk Management Authority.
Thanks.
It's our
I'm gonna do it
insurance
for
company.
you, but
It's the insurance company.
yeah. I don't know who's doing the presentation.
So this, the police department receives a yearly grant, sometimes a yearly grant for various projects. This one is for the tasers.
Taser purchase, correct.
And it's $5,000, so we have to recognize that income as well as the cost of the tasers.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Did we just get it?
A couple weeks ago, I think. A couple weeks ago.
Did we just amend the
We
budget?
received that, pardon me?
Was it after our last meeting?
Yes.
Yes, we just got the check.
Okay.
Is why the transaction has to happen through finance.
So did someone like to make a motion?
Yeah. Madam Mayor, I move to approve the budget amendment number 3 to recognize revenues and expenditures associated with grant funds received from MMRMA.
I'll support that.
Or whatever Kelly said the actual acronym is.
That's it.
I'll support it.
Great. So we already had our conversation, I'm assuming.
Well, I just want to say, again, from what I received, I couldn't make out exactly what it was for. So I think it may have just been the fact that the PDF was reissued. So
There's a translated one for you.
okay, I appreciate
That in
it.
Romanian.
Yeah, it was a foreign language code that I couldn't make out. So, but in any event, okay, appreciate it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor Milan.
Yes.
Approved.
Okay, we will approve that budget amendment. The next thing is a consideration of approving a resolution in support of Quincy, the K&K Inc., which is Nuri Chicken, located at 1 South Main Street, for their new on-premises development district Downtown Development Authority license request.
Motion?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, we're supposed to do the motion before the discussion.
sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't know who's doing the presentation, I guess is the thing I was looking for.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I move to approve a resolution in support of Quincy, the K&K Incorporated, for their new on-premises development district DDA license request.
So whomever's giving the presentation, come forward,
Got a
please.
second.
Oh, sorry. Second? Did you second?
No, I can't.
Oh, I will second.
Sure.
I gotta recuse myself.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and residents. My name is George Drosis. I'm an attorney. I represent Nori Chicken. With me is the owner, Mr. Kwan. We are coming to council tonight and seeking a resolution in support of a DDA new on-premises liquor license. I take it that the council has already read the materials we submitted. Nori Chicken has already opened its doors in the city of Clawson, and the community is responding in kind. We've even had to shut down this week because we were out of product. It's bringing a vibrant new Korean fried chicken element to the downtown area. We're very excited to be a part of the community, and we are seeking approval for a DDA liquor license to assist in growing our brand and continue to be a vibrant member of the community.
Okay. Anyone?
I saw that the one section is not open yet. Is that?
So the facility has a dine-in area, full service, and a dedicated takeout. Right now, we're in the middle of our soft opening, and we're only operating out of the dedicated takeout space.
Okay.
But everything's ready to go. It's fully built out, and ready to seat hungry customers.
Excellent.
Hungry, thirsty customers, apparently.
Including myself.
Okay. If no one has any questions, let's roll call, please.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
And Councilmember Sampson is recused. And that is accepted. I'll work with Ms. Horton to get that together and get it going.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Wonderful.
the council's time.
Welcome to the community.
Thank you so
Wish
much.
well.
I'm very happy to serve the city of Clawson.
Thanks, can't wait to get there. Check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is an item that was added, that we added in, which is funding for electronically broadcasting the Charter Commission meetings. Not sure who's responsible for this one. Would someone like to
Sure.
make a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we investigate opportunities on how to fund the broadcasting of the Charter Commission meetings. So,
Do you have a not to exceed level?
at this point, I don't know what that dollar value should be. I don't want to say a dollar value or be specific on it. I would say more of a term, no longer than 6 months, and then we review at that point in time whether or not there's additional requirement.
So when we approved when the Charter Commission was approved back in July, probably, right? Because I think I was there. We allocated a $20,000 budget to them, which at this point is there anyone here from the commission that's willing to speak? Is there anyone? I don't see anyone. Right?
Only their clerk.
Well, thank you for showing up today. I guess my thought when I saw this was I have no problem ensuring that they have the funds available to do what they need to do to what the electorate wanted them to do. I feel right now they have $20,000. It's already been allocated, not for any particular purpose, just for them to utilize. I'm content letting them move forward with that $20,000, and then as they formulate what they're doing and what their costs are going to be, they can always approach us and say we need additional, and this is how we're spending our budget. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else.
Based on actual business that the Charter Commission has taken, they did not vote on, but they said out loud, we want to broadcast them ourselves for now. They want to start that way, doing it themselves. They were told an estimate of what it would cost to have Merge Media do it for them, just under $300 a meeting. So they knew that, and they said, we're going to try to do it our way first. And then I figure if they don't like it, or if there's blowback, they'll come to council and say, hey, we want X amount of money to put it on merge. But that's not what they want to do yet. It's from what they've told me and said out loud. That could change any meeting.
Do they have a place to store it?
To store it. They would store it they would put it on the city's YouTube page.
Okay.
Are there any issues with utilizing someone's cell phone or iPad?
No, there's nothing that precludes them from recording it on their own, putting it on Facebook, taping it themselves, a resident coming in and taping it and putting it on their own YouTube page. There's nothing that stops a resident from doing that here. But, that's how they want to handle it for now. They said that's how they want to spend their money. I think they want to get a feel for what the attorney's going to cost. And then once they get that number, I think then they're going to figure out what they want to do, if they want to ask for more or keep going. But it depends on how the public responds to what they see.
I could see it potentially being a valid request in the future. I just feel like it's premature at this point. If they haven't spent any money and they have $20,000, let's see how their budget's going to go. I'm all for having the meetings publicized. I think if anything should be publicized, that this process is going to be interesting to watch, and what they're doing is going to be really important for all of us. So I want that to happen, but I personally don't feel that right now, and they're not asking us, so I feel like it's not worth really committing to at this particular moment. But that's my opinion. So,
Good question for August. On Open Meetings Act, they have to be open to the public. Do they have to be recorded?
No. There's no recording or retention of recording schedules with the Open Meetings Act.
Okay. So I guess, part of the thought process was they haven't yet. Obviously, they have their own process that they're going through with the $20,000. And, if there's anything that we can do to potentially help that, I'm open to do that. And that's the reason why, that whether people have questions on why it's not out there yet, whether or not that's something that was precluding them for the $20,000, if it's open to do as they will, then that's fine, right? And if they come back, as you were saying, with whatever their allotment is or what their process is, at least we have the discussion that we have it on the table, at least in terms of making sure that people are aware of what's happening.
You put it on their radar, and they're aware. And they also did, I'm sorry if I may, discuss the idea of like every 3 months doing one on merge, like a town hall style, and a big one on that's done with the professional cameras and everyone might, a higher quality one. That is also on their radar. So they're not against it. They just wanted to see what they could get done and what kind of quality they could put together themselves now. That's all.
Okay.
But I'll let them know at the next meeting that this came up and was discussed.
Okay.
If they didn't see it.
Well, I guess if that's the case, then we don't necessarily need to move forward with this, so I can withdraw my motion.
Well, it wasn't seconded, so it's just discussed and dies. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so at this time, we will address the items that were moved from the consent agenda. Are you wanting to address them all at once? We're talking about the reappointments, because that's the issue. Are we looking at those individually, or are we looking at those collectively? So
Individually.
Pardon me?
You put them on CD.
Yeah, they were put on individually.
No, okay, I just didn't know how I would address them. So let's start with number C, or what was number C, which is the reappointment of Gregory Cusera to the Planning Commission for a term to expire December 31st, 2024. So someone probably needs to make a motion to,
I'll make a motion to reappoint him. Okay.
You have a second?
Second.
Discuss.
Any discussion?
I'll just reiterate what I said, and this goes for Mr. Cusera and any of the others that were put on the consent agenda, that I would like to have had more time in order to have an opportunity to do what I needed for asking questions.
Okay, anything from you, Mr. Sampson?
I guess my concern is this, our next meeting will be in the new year, right? So their terms expire on the 31st. Is there an issue with that?
No, right, people can continue to serve.
It is,
with
the
an
court
expired-
precedent was that they continue to serve unless they're replaced.
Yeah, just if I may, Madam Mayor, having served on planning commission, so have you, that we've had those situations happen where their term has expired and that not necessarily had something that would have them brought back on, but still continue to serve.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Councilman Sampson?
No.
Councilmember Shepherd?
No.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
That fails.
Next item on the agenda will be the reappointment of Diane Smith to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Madam Mayor, I move to reappoint Diana Smith to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Is there a second? I'll second. Discussion?
Just again, I reiterate what I said before, as far as having that opportunity.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Sampson?
No.
Councilmember Shepherd?
No.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Fails.
The next item is the appointment of Nathan Hara to the Planning Commission for a term to expire December 31st, 2024. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I will. Yes.
I'll second. Any discussion?
I'd like to have the time to interview him, because he just came up as a new appointment. We didn't have a chance to at least talk to him, because we just got to, so this is something we can bring back after we have a chance to interview him.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Shepherd?
No.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson?
No.
That fails, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I would also just like to remind anyone who's listening that not too long ago, members of this body appointed someone to a board that had not submitted an application, and that other members of the board weren't even aware were being appointed to something. There was no issue with that, just so you all know. Okay, the last thing was list of bills is presented in the amount of $547,564.50.
Madam Mayor, pay the bills.
Motion.
Second.
I got a question for Kelly. On page 5 of 5, there's a whole bunch of stipends. What are they for?
I don't have that in front of me. There was a stipend for the
Those are the
union
DPW
employees.
contract
It's
stipends.
per their
I know,
contract.
but there's some for medical and some for keeping their license up. What were these for? Which ones are they for?
Well, yeah, I think I don't have it in front of me, but each dollar amount is based on contract,
Sure.
like whatever license or training that they hold is the amount that they are to receive.
Where it starts.
That's why there's different amounts depending on the employee status.
Faster.
You were faster.
Today.
You said page 5?
5.
I'm missing it on page 5. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. There's 2 page 5s. Yes, these are all union contract related stipends. They're either for their licensing and I believe mechanic,
Certifications.
different certifications, and there's
There's no medical.
tools.
There's no medical in there?
No. No.
Are we sure? Okay.
Yes. There's one HSA fee, but in this section of stipends, but that's for task, not for the employees.
Any questions?
Okay, roll call, please.
And I'm free to answer these questions prior to the meeting, so I can be prepared for you. I can have any documentation ready for you, so if you just want to give me a holler.
Thank you, Kelly. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes.
Passes. Bills are paid.
The bills that were already paid are now paid. So any old or unfinished business that I am unaware of?
We have none.
Okay, great. Next on the agenda would be public comments for items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here interested in speaking?
Just going to answer your question about the Festivus poll. It's not happening, but if everybody wants to, I have the poll. I just burned the base. So
I'll make you a new base.
you'll have to make a new base, but I do have the poll.
Thank you.
She ran up there to tell you that. Ran.
Good evening, Matt Ulbrich, 651 Broadacre. I did want to point out in the city charter, section 4.07, it does say that in regards to council members, all votes shall be by yeas and nays. Each member present shall be required to vote unless disqualified, or unless he shall state his reason for not voting, which shall be recorded in the minutes. So I'm just encourage if there is an abstention to log those reasons.
Yeah. We put them in the minutes why he recused for being a DDA member, DDA business.
Okay.
So.
It's like an acronym. It's just assumed.
We do reflect it in the minutes, so because people will ask, and we want to make sure that they know.
If it could be stated at a meeting, that would be helpful, but, you know,
Yeah, in the
I'll let
past
you-
we have. I don't know why it didn't come up this time. I just-
Because you usually look at Renus and go, can I?
Yeah.
I appreciate
Fair
that. I do want to point out that council members Shepherd and Sampson should be ashamed for their votes on November 3rd to appoint George Georges to city council. I have emailed both of you last month with my cell phone number. Didn't receive a response to the email or any other communication. Would love the chance to talk with you about that. And I think it's a waste for our city to be spending any time or resources to determine whether Mr. Georges belongs on city council. And so I would urge him to withdraw his suit against the city and to step away from the appointment.
Good evening, Horton. Greg Casera, 239 North Main, right down the street here. Lived here in town 70-some years. You, Mr. Sampson, and you, Mr. Shepherd, are an embarrassment to this city. I spent 7 years, hear me out, please. I spent 7 years on the ZBA. And when I left that position, I spent 4 years on a council seat up there. When I left that position, I've been on planning commission since then. I was chair when you came on, you were chair when I was vice chair. I've been around town all my life. I've known each of you guys for years. What do you want for qualifications? I sent my resume in, my paperwork was in on time. You have absolutely no reason to say, what do you want? You want to question me? Go right ahead. You're an embarrassment to this city, both of you guys.
Susan Moffett, 726 Drian. You know, from January 7th of 1920 to December 5th of 1933, it was illegal to sell alcohol in the United States. But the people cried out. They didn't want it. And in this country, we are of the people, by the people, and for the people. So that was turned down, even though it was legal at the time. From 1865 to 1964, segregation was legal in this country. But the people cried out and said, we don't want it. That's not who we are. And so it was struck down. My point is there stuff that's legal? But that doesn't mean that's what the people want. We are a country of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people have repeatedly cried out that having George's on the council is not what they want. He didn't win an election. He didn't earn it. And as we saw more political games today, it's just about petty little people, personal games, playing games with our city. That's not what we want. That's not what this country's about. Georgia should step away.
Is there anyone else? Okay, thank you.
My name's John. I live on Tecumseh, and I agree with everyone else that George needs to go. And if you two voted for him, then I think you guys need to go. George's should resign. The man is a jackass. And so are you two for appointing him. That's all I have to say. One more thing. Joan Horton, she's done a great amount of work, but those metal statues downtown are hideous.
Thank you. Next thing on the agenda, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sorry, Donna Hughes. I don't like to speak off the cuff because you've seen me read things, so this is going to be rather stilted. Both the last meeting and this meeting, there were very specific questions were asked, where you're looking at line items and things like that. And so there has to be a going back and researching what the answer to that question is, and then coming back and making a report. Of course, this isn't my assumption that the way things work. To get an answer to those questions, and so you're revisiting the same situation for more than one meeting, which means you're not moving forward. So is there any time frame that you all can come up with so that, for example, if the meeting is being held tonight and the report is in your packet, what time frame are you going to allow for your group to send questions to that person? So you, as she suggested, actually, she can answer. If you send the questions to them ahead of time, they can get the answers. But then that backs it up further, saying, by what time do you have to have the packets, and what is the time frame in which your questions need to be asked to be reported so we keep moving forward? I don't have the answers to those, but I'm suggesting as a body, maybe you can come up with some kind of a plan so that we can continue moving forward. And I don't know if this is in Robert's Rules of Orders. I don't know if it's in the other thing that we were taught, the other committee that wanted the approval. I don't know, but this would move things forward and keep them going forward so that there isn't a person who stands up here and says, I don't know the answer to that, because you feel awful when you stand up here and say, I don't know the answer to that. These people that are saying that work for us, and I would hate to stand up here week after week or month or whenever and say, I don't know, and not be able to say, if you had given me the question ahead of time, I would be prepared to have that answer, and we'd all feel successful, and we'd move on to the next subject. Just something to think about in the way, again, I don't know if there's rules about the way the committees work or how you work as a group, but maybe there's something can get together to make this all move together in a timely fashion and not be revisiting things. Thank you.
Thank you. Give everyone one more opportunity. Any more public comments? Yep, okay. Next thing on the agenda will be our city attorney's report, our fill-in city attorney's report.
Interim,
sorry.
I have nothing.
It's the same thing, though.
It just sounds more official.
Okay, whatever.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we will hear from our illustrious city manager, Mr. Sarvello.
The only thing I have is that moving forward for the next meeting, we're going to have a public hearing on the liquor license renewals. Typically, the reports are being filed by the fire official, and we're wrapping up with the police end of it, and then that will be on the January 4th, I think, is the meeting for the LCC renewals for the city.
I have a question.
Sure.
Where's the spreadsheet for the open items? We haven't seen that in a couple weeks, months.
Most of them, I mean, there are some items on there that are still, it's not attached, though.
Yeah, we were going to get them every so often, and
Okay.
can you get a copy to us?
We will, we'll update that and get that on the next one. That's not a problem.
Okay, do you have anything you'd like to share, August? That's a fun
It's my birthday.
Is it really?
Can we sing happy birthday to him?
Happy
Let's sing happy birthday to August, everyone. You want to?
I don't know if you want. That's all I got. No, you want it.
Got a new coat.
This ain't new. Been sporting this one for years.
City council comments. Mr. Anderson? Councilmember Anderson?
I do have a question on the issue of Mr. Casera. I understand that generally when you get some information package, you want some time to review them. I understand that. I think Mr. Casera is kind of a known quantity, so why are we holding back his reappointment? Does anyone wish to answer that?
Did have to be under discussion when we discussed it again.
Madam, would you like to go open forum? It's just a question. Open forum, so.
Can be answered if they'll answer. If they don't want to answer, they won't answer.
I'm going to stand to, that this needs to be fair for everybody. That the opportunity that the people that were presented on the consent, Madam Mayor, could I have?
What are you, I'm being quiet and listening to
No,
you.
I just,
can't
I would like to have
control
order.
laughter. You can't
Well, I
really
think you
expect
can,
them to not
actually.
laugh.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I think you can.
I won't. I will not.
No,
Hold on.
I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. So I try to explain. Obviously, there is no intent or need to listen to what I have to say. We'll save it for later. So.
Could you hold some, I would like him to speak, if you could, please, Madam Mayor.
Audience, would you please be kind so that Mr. Shepherd can have the full floor? Thank you very
I will
much.
say it again, and this is a shameful thing that I have this type of reaction to someone who's making public comments as we sit here and stoically listen to every single thing that everyone from the audience says. And again, I will stand firm that needs to be fairly adjudicated across every person who comes in front of us who has a request to be sitting on any one of our panels. That it's not just a special exception for one person. It's across the board. If we had waited and had that opportunity, I would have voted to wait. But no, that's not what was presented to us. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Thank you for answering this question. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor, I think it is pertinent to say that we had an issue with getting the agenda to Mr. Shepherd a couple months ago. When I sent it out, and I realized that my system had defaulted to his old Planning Commission email. I deleted that out of my system so that couldn't happen again. It went out from the city manager's office today. That may have happened again, because it did go out and everyone got it on Thursday. I'll check the system, both Nick's and the city manager, to see if it defaults to the Glenn.Shepherd, which you don't get anymore. That could have been the problem. And in the future, if you don't see it on a Thursday, please let me know. I'll send it directly to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Not out of what I sent goes to the same email that I send out my Friday reports to, and.
Yeah,
We'll check, we'll just look at it, so.
I didn't get it. Not until I got the request for the update. That's when I received it, so.
Did you send out the first one on Thursday? Did you send it out?
I did not send it out Thursday. I was not in the office Thursday afternoon.
Who sent it, do you know? Go ahead, just think.
Okay, thanks. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I'll look into that.
So I would just like to say my condolences to the three individuals whom have served this community for extensive periods of time with dignity and respect, and willingly want to give up their time to do right by our city, and were disrespected greatly this evening. My apologies. I wish I could control anything, but I can't. I will say that. I will say, we spoke of Jim McHale earlier this evening, and I just want to say on a personal note, I met Jim McHale, and I used to sit over there where August is, and Jim would sit next to me, and he would always have lots of information and occasionally make me laugh. And he was one of the kindest men I think I've ever met. He had such great integrity and a beautiful smile and sparkly eyes. And recently he began working at a company that my owner owns. So he's been in my building for the past several months. And I've enjoyed just having time to chat with him. He was always a gentleman. I never heard him speak unkindly of anyone, no matter what the topic was. And I mean, anyone in this room, I don't care what your story is, he would not have said anything unkind about you. He may have made a face, he may have grimaced or something, but he wouldn't have uttered anything that would have been disrespectful. And to his family, my heart goes out, my prayers. I just ask you to think of that family as they go through the holidays without him. And speaking of the holidays, they're almost here. If you're not ready like me, don't worry. We have lots of days, and you really don't need sleep. We'll get it done. And if you're not really a holiday celebrator, I hope you find something to celebrate during these next few days. I hope you have family and friends and something, or just find peace within yourself and enjoy a couple days. I wanted to share a couple items from the library, what they have going on, just for fun. If you're home with children and they're driving you nuts over the holiday, apparently they have some little make it, take it type packets that you can get. There's a Giving Tree project going on. Go to their website. You can make contributions to them and purchase books that will stay in the library. They have an offering called a Children's Picture Book Bundle. You can go online, request a themed stack of picture books for pickup and circulation at the circulation desk, which might get you through 20 minutes of a day. So that might be good. If you have little ones, you might want to do that. Also, if you are planning on going to the library or any of our city services, all the hours are adjusted for the holidays, which I don't know, so you guys might want to share that with people just in case. When are you guys closed?
Thursday and Monday.
Thursday and Monday.
2 weeks.
For the next 2 weeks.
Library's following the same.
Okay, great. That's great.
Well, they might be open Thursday, actually, they're closing Saturday.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. And then also, make sure you stay up till midnight so that you can go online at the DDA, as Joan gave us the instructions earlier, to buy those downtown bonus dollars. So she said the sale started at midnight, and they go quickly. So if you're going to be up decorating like me, go ahead, get your computer out and get that going as well. Councilmember Sampson, you said you had something else?
Did you send it on the Thursday the 14th? I don't have, the first one I got was today, the agenda. But I had time to go through it. I don't have anything from the 14th.
I'll check it. We sent it out Thursday, that's why we asked for everything to be in, and it's sent out before we go home on Thursday, it is sent.
I just pulled it up to see if
Sent, approved.
Yeah.
I'll check my sent.
I'm sure I received it, but we'll take care of that. It won't happen again, right? We'll just try and alleviate that problem. So are we going into open session still?
We need to,
Your closed session?
need to
Sorry.
figure on number 16 going into
Oh, did I
closed
skip
session.
something?
Correct.
We do have to, if we're going into closed session, it doesn't have to be on the agenda. It's something we can vote to go into.
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, but it's something we can do. You're allowed to.
Motion for 16.
Second.
16 says adjournments, but we're not adjourning, right? Because we're going in.
You on the words or the agenda?
We
The
have a
agenda has it.
consideration of going into closed session to discuss our city manager search. Would that be appropriate?
That'd be appropriate?
Thank you.
I'll support that.
All right. Anything else we need to do? So we're going to take a break. We're going to go talk about city manager selection again. And if you would like to hang out here until we come back, which I don't know when that will be, you're welcome to.
We aren't expected to vote on anything other than adjournment on the way out, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Folks like to know that usually.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, it's just I have to ask you. You
Yeah,
wouldn't have known.
it's okay.
So I have to do a motion and a roll call vote to do that.
Okay.
Motion by Milan, seconded by
Anybody?
Sampson. Milan?
Yes.
Sampson? Shepherd?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
We'll start our closed session in about 5 minutes.
Yep,
That
sounds good.
All right, so we'll say adjourned at 8:46.
In that room?
8:51, yes.
Okay, I would like to call this meeting back to order. It is 10:17-ish,
2217.
or that.
Madam Mayor, make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Councilman Shepherd?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Councilman Sampson?
Yes.
Thank you all. We are adjourned at 10:16, 10:18, 17, what is it? 10:17.
It's still your birthday.
It's still my birthday.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
So Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.